I mean, I'm like 99% sure that they're gone.
Yeah.
We haven't heard anything from them in quite some time. All right, well, looks like we've got the full group now. So the purpose of today's call is to review our timeline to make any necessary updates in real time. And then Jesse and Brian, I think this is your first re-implementation project that you've worked on here, right?
Definitely.
Okay. So I'm gonna share my screen. I want to walk you, Jesse and Brian, through our project guardrails for this re-implementation, and then offline if there's any other questions, I'm happy to meet with both of you separately. Um, so this is a slide that we used during our client kickoff, and I think it's a good one just to try to get you up to speed on what the project really is. Um, oh, hold on one second. Hold on, you stop sharing for a second.
No, wait. No, just kidding.
I have two. Okay. Oh no, no, I can't find you guys. Hold on. Sorry. Okay, that's what happens when you have too many items up. Okay. You can see the right screen, right? The implementation guardrails.
Yes.
Okay. So for the items that we have in scope, again, we take the clients through. For the in-scope side, we'll obviously be setting up their prod and QA environment, and we'll be maintaining a set on their site. For the import work, we'll be providing the client assistance, but the imports are really on their end to do. For project management, of course, we'll be tracking the project, and then I'll send out weekly, or Chris and I will send out meeting notes after each of our internal statuses, give any updates, and then I'll be sending out monthly executive summaries to their team, just letting them know exactly where we are in the project and if we see any risks that come up. And then another one that's in scope is their training and testing. So we do provide the training, and Helene works with their team to do a train the trainer approach. And there's typically one training per module. We've only got the CM module, so that should be pretty easy. But that's something that Helene will handle. And then as far as the out of scope items, we all know that this is a template product, so there's obviously no customizations. Before we meet with Santa Clara Family Health, Brent and whoever else will walk them through their gap analysis again, just to review the customizations that they had in 3X. And then unless those features, are already included in the product template for 4.x, they won't be part of the new version. So in those cases, we'll have to work with them on potential workarounds. So that again will be done prior to us kicking off with them. Was someone going to say something? Okay. And then the other three items that are out of scope are the data imports. They'll own their own data, so we won't be doing testing or working on their imports. For their project management section here, again, I'll provide them the high level plan, but we always do encourage that they create their own detailed plan, which some clients don't like to hear. So you never know what you're going to get there. And then for the last one, for the out of scope, the training and testing. Again, like I said, it's a train the trainer approach. So we'll do all their smoke testing in their environments, but again, we aren't going to test their data. So Jesse and Brian, I hope that gives you a little bit of background on what the product is that we're obviously going to be upgrading them to the 4.x, and just a high level overview of what's in scope for them and what's out of scope.
I can probably take this offline as well, but I'm curious about the data side of it. We don't do the imports?
Well, we don't change their current imports because usually they're hosted on another system.
Yep.
So like their imports from their old system into the new system.
Right. So they're 3x implementation. We don't take that data and put it in their 4x for them.
Oh, well, for the most part, no.
Wow.
A lot of the data is left out, and I'm not exactly sure I'm not sure if it. I said most part, and I might be wrong on that, but it doesn't feel like we bring over much data because um, they are also asked to um, do a lot of the setup for things like um, assessments and a lot of their lookups and a lot of their core stuff. We usually have somebody who will come along and help with that, but for the most part, it's on their shoulders rather than us trying to import, for instance, all of their assessments. And I'm not talking about the answers, I'm just talking about the actual structure of the assessments. We don't do that. We usually have somebody has to go in manually on the front end to create that.
But like, so they're saying their cases. We don't pull their cases across for them.
That is one of the things we will pull, but we don't pull all the data. Um, we only pull what we can use the import system for.
All right. I'm gonna
Chris,
have a
maybe
bunch of follow-up questions on that, Chris. So I want to before I don't want to open cans of worms here. I didn't expect that being on the periphery of like Rocky's seeing the chat. I wasn't involved in the actual work. I just got a million questions there. So rather than take this group's time, I'll hit you up and find out a little bit more about the data.
I'm happy to do whatever you need. You got my ears.
What are you gonna
we
say?
do, we do provide, yeah, well, I think, do we provide like a listing of what all we do as part of our process to the client normally? And I'm
Yes.
just wondering, like, can we get that to Jesse, to Brian, so they can review it?
Sure, I'll do that right now. I have it up on my other monitor, so it's not a problem.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, no problem. And by the way, as I'm saying these things, I'm just telling you what the template is. I think every one of us believes that stuff can be changed.
Very good.
Definitely. All right, so right now I'm sharing our project plan. You can just walk through the key milestones in the plan, and then I'll plan to send the project plan out after this call so you have time to sit and review it. And then I'm also working on a Confluence page that I'll share alongside the project plan once I get this sent out. All right, so a lot of these dates are going to be determined based on when we obviously kick the client off. Right now, I've got the 18th here. I don't know if that's going to be doable yet for the client or not, but for sure we want to get them kicked off this month. The whole project will take around a little over 6 months, but we know how that tends to go when we quote for 6 months. Sometimes it's a little bit longer, but for this client, we really do want to keep them within the 6 month, especially since they only do have one module.
Also in the master contract that they have to be live by a certain time period after after execution of the contract, which is basically March 1. So we've got a nice way to keep them on track.
Okay, perfect.
And that's dependent on what factors? Because I know that we've run into things where our stuff got delayed, or I'm assuming we got some flex on that.
Not really. I mean, we don't really need it, I think, in this case. So
Okay.
we need to get out of the business of supporting 3.9. So that's part of what the backstop is for.
That works. Thanks.
So soon before we kick off, I'd also like for us to be able to reach out to whoever their IT person is to make sure that we've all have the proper access, the ones that need it. I know that sometimes takes quite a bit of time, so the sooner that we can do that, that would be great. So Chris Rank, or whenever we get our resources or a stakeholder list, I can follow up with you and we can send out that note just to make sure we've got the right access for everyone. So I'm looking right now for the last week, I guess, or one of the last weeks in March to get the prod environment set up, or for the client, sorry, to get the prod environment set up and for us to get the app installed by the 21st. Again, all these dates are going to change, so it's hard to kind of let you know the exact date, but just the order. The events which are going to happen are gonna relatively stay the same. For QA, I think we've got this out on. I wanted to see if you have the availability for the end of March to validate the prod environment. I just wanted to make sure there's no different upgrades or anything that you're working on that will impact this time.
Yeah, hi Jacqueline. I will double check, but I think I should be available during that time.
Okay. Great, thank you. And then I'd like to release the site to the clients prior to April. So that will be one of our big milestones. I went through and kind of went and guessed how many weeks it'll take for each of these items. There are certain clients that needed, for example, the data imports like 6 weeks, but I feel like some clients did it in a shorter amount of time. So I went through and made some updates that will help make this project. Were you going to say something, Lonnie?
No, sorry.
That's okay.
I
That
think it's my
shortened up our
keyboard being
schedule.
too loud. I will be.
Okay. So I had 4 weeks there for the client for the data imports. Chris, for the historical data migration, I think for one project, I can't remember who, it took you up to 6 weeks just because I think you were on PTO at certain points. So right now I put it down to 4 weeks. Does that feel okay? Or, and
Yeah,
I
it
guess
does.
also when I send this out too, I also want you, Chris, if the two of us want to meet, that's fine, just to make sure that these dates are going to impact prospect. I know we're trying to
Well,
get them live the end of the month, but I don't know how that's going to work.
yeah, I mean,
Hopefully we'll be live by then.
yeah, I mean, they won't be going live next week, but the only thing, can I get 5 weeks? Because I'm actually on PTO the 23rd through the 25th.
So, fine. For the API updates, I can't remember where this falls within a project plan. Is this something that they will need to work on while you're working on the data migration? Does this happen after? I just can't remember where it falls.
That can be if it's just what they need to do to be able to use the API. That should probably happen while we're doing the migration, while we're doing the and make it, because it's probably best if we have people. I can do some of the question answering, and other people can do other question answering on the how to use the API to fit those needs.
I'm just making a note of myself. Okay. So I know we used to have a resource. I think her name was Carmen that would work on moving the configurations from 3.x to 4.x. Who will be doing that for this project? Would it be? I guess I don't want to mention who. Brent. Do we have someone that we
No,
will rely on?
I don't think we'll operate here. I've actually talked a little bit with Linda, and they may, when we want them to do this, they're going to probably use it as a chance to review how they're doing everything. So so moving it's only viable if they don't want to change anything, but they might want to adjust. So in either way, I don't think I've checked with Jess a few times the last several months. I don't think we have anyone that we want to spend doing that manual labor. So small clients, they're not going to have that many configurations, I don't think, anyway.
Okay, so we can remove it.
Meeting.
Well, no, I guess it's on client business technically.
Got it. Okay.
Carmen would usually do that, and I think that was something we
Yeah,
offered.
she did.
And I think there was a degree where Monet did that too. But
If we want to put on the client, I think that's better. And then yeah, you're right, Chris. We did used to offer up our resource to do it, but if it's on the client, then I think that's better.
yeah, and it was always officially on the client to do anyway. It's just that we would go, hey, we'll do this.
We were just nice.
We've actually had clients just say no, thank you, actually, too. So
Okay, that's good to know.
it just depends on what they're trying to do with it.
For the module training, the dates again are going to be up in the air. It's going to be dependent if the clients want this done prior to the migration or after. We know some of the clients like to have this closer to when they're doing their testing. Some clients want it as soon as they can. So these dates and in order of which they come in will be reliant on what the client wants. So again, we only have CM, and we've got the general configuration and user testing and mapping, hoping to happen the end of August into early September. Then we just have the typical production go live prep. I put the mock live here as a final. I know that we'll have multiple different mock go lives, but that'll be just kind of dependent on where we fall in the project and when that happens. So I put a final one happening at the end of September, and then hopefully going live with them the weekend of September 26th. Any questions or anything that looks off to anyone?
Wasn't it Norman Schwarzkopf who said no battle plan survives contact with the enemy? So I mean,
Chris,
it
I don't
looks
know what
good
that
now.
Oh,
But
I had a question for you, Chris. Okay, for the delete demo data, that would happen after you're done with the.
nope, has to happen before I do that. Has to happen before I do the historical data migration and before they
Okay.
do any and has to happen before they do any what do you call it, any configuration, because what we found is that I will be I will wind up stepping on other people's toes. I think you want to be up 2 lines.
Yeah, I'll adjust it. So I have the
Okay.
historical data migration starting on the 22nd. So oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, delete demo data should probably happen as soon as we have like the site kind of up and running.
Yeah, sorry. Now my computer wants to.
It looks like the app installation is
Oh,
going to be done by the end of the month. Oh no, you've already got it up there on 326 and 327. It's line 12 on your Gantt chart.
wait. I need to go. What do I have?
Line
Oh,
12.
you're right. Oh my gosh, I had it in there twice.
Yep.
Okay. I'm an overachiever, so I'm gonna delete this one because we only need to happen once.
Yep. And actually, that 328. Where'd it go? I think I need more than 2 days, but
Okay.
that should get me.
Yeah, it'll happen prior to that then. I'll give you
Yeah.
5 days.
Yes.
Okay. And then, yeah, that's plenty of time to happen before the migration. Perfect. All right. Anyone have any questions? Again, I'll send this out and I'll also send out the Confluence page that lists the stakeholders. And then I'm working on the kickoff deck. It's going to look pretty similar to what they look like for the rest of the clients that we've kicked off, but I'll send that through prior just so everyone can take a look to make sure that their slides look good. But other than that, I don't think I had anything that I wanted to go through unless there's anything else you guys want to talk through.
Looks awesome, Jack. And I might add that I think from a strategic perspective, like specifically about using the API, again, being a small team and just what we've seen with other clients, I'm not sure if they're going to have, a developer queued up who's familiar with calling APIs and things like that, and some of their kind of core business uses from, the gap analysis might rely on some small pieces there, and so I might be more willing to devote some kind of extra time on our side to helping them be successful there, just to keep the project on scope. This will be the last one of 3X clients, and again, we have more focus on getting out of 3X support than we do on trying to penny pinch on this project, if that makes sense. So I know we all have the knowledge to do it, and if we don't, we can easily phone a friend. But I'll probably push back less on making the client do all this stuff if they just don't have resources for it, specifically with the API. I would say.
Okay. Is it IT or development that would help for the API for our
it's
journal?
Yeah, it's dev.
Mhm.
They're not doing anything like Rocky, but still things even like importing assessments. I don't think we can do any assessment import outside of the API yet.
This is true.
That's one of their SOW.
Alrighty, well, I'll go ahead and send this out and let me know if you guys have any other questions that come up.
One thing I missed is,
Chris.
Yep.
I was gonna say one thing I missed is when the actual go live is scheduled.
Right now, I have it scheduled for the 26th of September.
Sweet.
Does that date sound alright?
We'll find out.
Okay.
We'll make it. I mean, we'll try and make it work for whatever the client needs.
We'll figure it out. Definitely.
When do you have the first mock?
So I typically don't put, so I have a final mock happening obviously closer to the go live, but I don't typically put the mocks in until we kind of figure out how the project's going. Is there a
Okay.
certain point within the timeline that you see now that would be good for a first mock?
When do you have, let's see, checking over, where do we have them checking over all the data? Like after I get the HDM in and everything, they should be looking
Just for them to validate it?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I don't know if I have it on here.
What's
Okay.
HDM? What's that stand for?
Historical data migration. Sorry.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Oh yeah, it's from them too, yeah.
I should add that to the set MLA page.
So I guess maybe we need to bump it up maybe to 6 weeks if you need 5 weeks, and they'll need at least a week to validate.
Yeah, we should probably call something out for them to actually validate and give them
I'll put another
some
one.
time, and they might need more than a week to do that.
Okay. I can't type when people are looking.
We'll all look away. We'll all close our eyes and just say,
I know what this is about. I just can't do it. I don't know. I get nervous. Okay, so I'll add time in there, and then like a week or two. We'll talk to them too when it comes closer to when they're actually need.
Yeah, I mean, right now prospects on week
100.
32, I think.
Yeah.
So, but
Well, we can't go off of that.
that's what they told us they're on. I think
Yeah.
they're on week 3, but
I think so too. All right, yeah, thanks, Chris. That was a good call out. All right, so I'll send this through. Chris, again, I'm happy to sit with you if you want to walk through any of the milestones. Make sure that they're not going to back up to anything that you're working on right now.
currently they do not.
Okay, good. Happy to hear that. All right, well, I think that's it then. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day, everybody.
Yeah, thanks for doing this.
Thank you,
Yep,
guys.
bye.